So guys, Sisia aya Dormaahene and the information. We can information a very big warning. And our audiama for our onward Dorma say. The bio galamsey no for so ye gala. Now you know the materials we use with the chemicals and everything we use a maximum of 15 years and send a bit near fries as so shall check it. Start to count how many years near and then how many years ago and almost share galamsey I say. That means Ghana for you bank kaka. Yes, it is here Dormaahene say. Well, we need more better word Dorma crew and no better word Dorma sassy so. Say a point of getting out from Dorma na ho can now be galamsey for punishment or the bema no. Anka onye nipa bio. So ye nyina ye boy ho dey say be jai galamsey a whole lot. And ya ka say papa ye he Dorma he e dia tuja. 18% myself and come on your mercy.
So far as I'm concerned, except at times I'm not in Doma, but I want to assure the people that so far as that area called Doma, once you are there, be sure that one day you'll be caught and you know the punishment, minimum 15 years. Do you have to do that? So I'm calling on all Ghanaians that this is the only thing that our ancestors left for us, so we don't have to destroy the water bodies. We don't want to destroy our cocoa farms, and ensure that we do farming in the right way so that we can all be happy as Ghanaians.
So you think that the movement is in the right direction?
Of course, yes.
Instead of emergency, you think?
No. It has not come to that. Let's look at how much we garner in respect of mining. I mean, once you declare state of emergency, the question is who can do? If we are not able to get that resources, there will be a gap. How is government going to? So there's a need for us to do it. As for mining, nobody will argue that there shouldn't be mining, but it has to be mined responsibly. That is the whole thing. People who are doing galamsey, we are destroying ourselves. There's a need to start. I want to appeal, especially as a chief. We, the chief, should not say we don't have the power. If somebody could do it, it's in the jurisdiction and not allowing people to do it. Why can't you do it? In Doma, if you come there, I'll arrest you and give you to the police so that you'll be prosecuted. I want to appeal to everybody. They should ensure that the people should not engage in galamsey, because if you do it and you are arrested, you know the consequence for it. It will not be good for all of us.
But I wouldn't mind if it takes me today.
But because essentially, I think, would you not at least want to see where the future of the party? John Mahama.
All I want to see is live long enough to see the Black Stars qualify for the World Cup and see them play well during the World Cup.
Okay. The Black Stars qualifying for the World Cup, they're playing well at the World Cup.
Yeah.
I see. You're a big sports fan?
Oh, yes. My house in London used to share a wall with West Ham's Upton Park. A wall. So sometimes I used to stand on the balcony, back room of my house, and I could see the field till they increased the length of the wall. So I was supporting West Ham. In fact, I was supporting all London clubs. Tottenham, West Ham, Arsenal, Chelsea. But when any of them meet Arsenal, I want Arsenal to win. But apart from that, any team that comes to London to play, I want the London club to win.
I think that we had discussed this in the run-up to the 2024 election, the potential positives and negatives of all of the candidates who were running, especially President Mahama and Dr. Bawumia. And one of the potential negatives that was expressed about President Mahama's candidature was that if he were elected, he will be doing a one-term. The reason why that was a potential concern was that if you look at the constitutional arrangements that has been put out in the 1992 Constitution, you will see that the arrangement is such that the operators of the constitution, that's Ghana and the Ghanaian political scene, will be changing presidents every other election. So if you go to election 1992, the one who wins 1992 is likely to run for the 1996 election, and after 96 to 2000. And then if he's able to win, he'll be there 2 terms, and then another one comes, and that's really what has happened. Now, the danger is that where the president is running in his second term, so I'm referring to January 1997, when Rawlings took the final oath for the second term, and therefore he's not eligible to run for the 2000 election. We saw the process. As soon as the 1997 handing over was over, groups were beginning to emerge within the ruling party about the future, about the succession. It's commonplace, it's normal in every political situation. In America, they will have it down. If it becomes clear that Donald Trump is not running for 2028, groups will emerge as to the succession. And political party people are always going to differ in who should be the successor. They are hardly going to have a 100% opinion. Now, that process affects every government in terms of your performance and in terms of your delivery. But it is anticipated that you will be in your second term. So you may have established certain things that can keep running, because naturally it is a cost to the democracy itself. It's an opportunity cost to democracy itself. For democracy's own sustenance, we must have that disturbance. That's the philosophy. So that we can sustain the process, there has to be the disturbance, which is that people are going to coalesce around opinions for the succession of the president. So in 1997, our first experience with it, the NDC, which was the ruling party at the time, observed that this is potentially dangerous and that Rawlings was leaving and people were coalescing around Guzi Tano especially. People were coalescing around ministers. People thought that there would be the return of Kwesi Botwe to lead the party, all of that. So the elders of the party were concerned about this. This was the first time we were confronted with this kind of situation. What did they do? They decided to go to Flight Lieutenant Rawlings and urge him to end the conversation by declaring, and he was the supreme leader of the party in terms of the founding it and all that, so he had a very powerful voice, to end the process by declaring that Professor Mills was going to be the running mate. Now, he did this as early as 1998, 2 whole years before the election.
You're talking about the ßreak declaration.
The ßreak declaration. Now, once he made that declaration, the matter ended. And then we went into 2000 elections. NDC didn't win. But the disturbance to the government was reduced significantly because of that announcement by J.J. Rawlings. And the fallback was that Guzitano and co actually left the party and formed their own party. And that affected the NDC in the year 2000 elections. Then Otumfour became president. Between 2000 and 2004, there was government stability because it was obvious that Otumfour was going to be on the ballot. And so within the MPP, the ruling party, there were no people coalescing around an opinion and dividing themselves. There was nothing like that. Otumfour was going to run. The MPP, I believe, passed a resolution in one of their congress that when the sitting president is running, you don't need to have a congress. So they went through that process smoothly. Then Otumfour took the oath in 2005. As soon as he did, second term of the MPP, the government was going to be disturbed. It's a cost to democracy. So the coalition started around Alan Chemartin, Nana Akufo-Addo, Hackman Uswajiman, Michael Quay Jr., Michael Quay Sr., Yao Safo, and all of these people. What did Akufo do? He became very concerned and began to engage publicly that what is happening. Then he decided that, look, if any of my ministers wants to run for president after me, leave the office by this date. And then you saw a mass resignation. The first time we've had it, and we've never had it before, a mass resignation of about 12 to 14 ministers on one day, because this was going to disturb the government. Now, this kind of
disturbance... And that's where the popular don't speak ahead of time statement came from Otumfour.
The democratic arrangement, this disturbance is supposed to occur every other election. Yeah. And so we went through it in 97, then we go through it again in 2008. And then came Professor Mills. So Professor Mills ran, and he was going to run for another term when he won in 2009. So there was no disturbance of the first term, which is usual, and the government was stable. And then President Mahama came in. President Mahama came in, and then he was also running for 2016. So there was fairly stability within the context of the government. There were some small concerns, but it was fairly stable. Akufo-Addo comes in, and then he runs up to 2020. So between 2020 and 2024, we have had that kind of disturbance where after Akufo-Addo took the oath, there was a concern about the MPP stability. Alan Martin was running, the vice president is running. So you have disturbance, but they have some programs that are stable. You have a Greek minister running. The reason why you naturally will have this disturbance is that if you're a Greek minister and you must have a meeting with people towards the pursuit of policy, but you are told that the constituency chairman in a constituency that you really want to win is looking for you and is in Samanboy in the Western region, you will go. And so you are going to have divided attention. That should occur in a second term where programs are already running. However, this situation, so Akufo-Addo comes in with 2020-2024, we have that problem. Then we elect John Mahama in 2024. Then the next election cycle, you are having that problem again. That is where Ghana is losing. That's the danger. It's not a danger to NDC, it's a danger to the stability of the government. And it's a cost to democracy that is necessary for democracy sustenance. So we find ourselves in a catch-22 situation. There's nothing that we can do about it. But it's a story, a lesson that we learn for the future. Because naturally, this government is going to have a stability problem. And more so because the people who are interested in the succession are very key and core to the movement of the government and its policy. Chief of Staff. That's a very powerful, important position. And this is the first time we've seen a Chief of Staff who is so affable, like Julius. People like him. People are calling on him. The youth are following him when he's running. They want him to become president. And he's Chief of Staff of the government. Then you have a Greek minister. Then you have as key a person as a finance minister in a first term running for office for president. That's devastating. Your Chief of Staff is competing with your finance minister for the succession of the president. Then the party that is supposed to give stability to these things, call everything to order and say, look, we are the NDC party. We put you in the government. This thing you do, you have to stop. That's not going to happen because the chairman of the party is also eyeing the succession. So that's a problem. I hope that civil society experts and pollsters are looking at this difficulty. It's a problem that we have to take because we need it to sustain democracy. But it's a problem that is intended to occur every other election cycle. Here we're having a back-to-back, and that's going to be devastating. So when I saw it, I was just hoping that it will start, but it will start late. But here we are. Before 1 year is done, a Greek minister some months ago indicated quite clearly, polls are showing that Otumfour is doing very well. Polls are showing that Idrisu Haruna, who has actually not stepped forward, is leading. He has done very little in the public to indicate that he wants to be president after John Mahama. But the polls show that he's leading, and that means that there's a big call on him from the grassroots to come into the race. What portfolio is he handling? Education. Such a critical portfolio handled by such an important person would have to have